Look out!
Jesus! Shit.
Go. We're gonna make it. Come on, we're gonna
I'm
make
not
it.
gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it.
Back up now!
Jesus!
Go!
Children of Men is a 2006 sci-fi action thriller film directed by the brilliant Alfonso Cuarón. It takes place in the near future in a dystopian world where women have become infertile for 18 years. Violence is seen all around the globe as people destroy everything and crowds march on the streets telling everyone it is the end of the world. With countries all over the world collapsing, Britain is the only remaining country to have a supposedly stable government. Clive Owen stars as Theo Farron, a government bureaucrat. He was kidnapped by the terrorist group named the Fishers to transport a very important young woman named Key across the border. This film is a perfect example of masterful directing accompanied with a brilliant cast and well-crafted cinematography, making it one of the best films made in the recent century. The person behind the camera will be no other than the great Emmanuel Lubezki. Emmanuel Lubezki is an Academy Award-winning cinematographer responsible for the imagery of many critically acclaimed films such as The Revenant, Gravity, and Birdman. A trademark of his work will be using natural lighting. It gives a very raw and naturalistic feeling to the film.
He didn't use any electric lights. Like you see all these exteriors, there's no light. Even at night, there are no electric lights. Everything in the refugee camp is lit by fires.
So that was one of the rules, to shoot with natural light and to make the movie as realistic and naturalistic as possible. And that's also because we didn't want to glamorize that moment of humanity, and we wanted to make it look as close to what's happening right now and to make the people feel that something like that could happen.
Long takes were heavily used in Children of Men, with 154 of them, ranging from 22 seconds to 6 minutes. Long takes require perfect coordination and cooperation between cast and crew. This was a creative decision as it pulls the viewer into the dystopian world, breaking the fourth wall and creating a unique sense of reality to the film. In classical Hollywood cinema, when wanting to display chaos and action in the film, different shots will be cut back and forth, creating a fast pace to the film.
Things okay there, Strucker? I don't want to talk about it now, Colonel! Busy!
In this scene, Cuarón could cut the shots of soldiers shooting down and gunning down enemies. However, the camera glues itself to Theo, telling his perspective of the story. We are seeing the world through Theo's eyes, as if we were there with him. If Cuarón were to cut back and forth with other shots, this would change the perspective of the movie towards the war, which is not as important as Theo's story. Long takes amplifies the tension in the film, as you are never sure what is going to happen next. In this scene, we see the characters being chased by a swarm of people wanting to kill them. The camera is literally in the car as if you were sitting alongside the characters, experiencing the chaos with them. Emmanuel Lubezki mentioned in an interview that him and Cuarón were trying to approach the film like how a documentary filmmaker would.
And we started talking about the movie, and even then we talked about doing the movie a little bit the way a documentary filmmaker would do it and would approach a subject.
This also reflects on the way he frames the characters. Theo is never seen far away from the character, he is always up close. This further strengthens the design perspective. As the film progresses and follows Theo's journey to survive, time to time the camera will start to wander off and focus with what's going on in the background. Theo does not pay any attention to this, as if mimicking humans' way of thinking, where we only focus on what's in front of us instead of looking at the bigger picture. The camera lingers on the shots of refugees as we see them being trapped in cages and suffering. This brings up the question as to whether Britain's way of survival is humane. Each frame in this film has something to talk about. The film approach to contrasting the foreground with the background is very effective in portraying the storyline. Many cultural references are hidden in the background throughout the film, giving an underlying meaning to each scene. In this scene, Theo is seen in front of a large painting. This is an artwork from Picasso named the Guernica. It shows the tragedies of war and suffering it inflicts upon individuals, particularly innocent civilians, and Theo is singly framed within the painting, in the midst of all this chaos. In this scene, we see the characters coming out of the building. The camera starts following them as they progress the story. However, it lingers behind and focuses on a mother hugging his dead son in her arms. This can be seen as a direct reference to Michelangelo's sculpture La Pieta. Virgin Mary is seen carrying Jesus Christ in her arms after he has been crucified, which links back to the film where it heavily portrays the brutality of man and the consequences of their actions. In the starting of the film, we are already given a strong idea of what Theo's character is and where the entire film is set in. Theo is seen in a coffee shop buying coffee. While everyone around him was reacting to the tragic news, he is unbothered by it. Coming out of the shop, we are shown prominent London icons such as the iconic Big Bus, British flags, and Halifax, which is a British bank. We can see futuristic cars and large advertisements on window, suggesting the setting is taking place in the future. As Theo sets his coffee down, he takes out a whiskey flask and pours it into his coffee. We as audience can immediately tell Theo is a troubled man. Children of Man is a masterpiece of a film and especially important to our world. Even though Children of Man takes place in the future and it's been 13 years since the movie has been released, the story is very relevant to our current state of our world and everybody should watch it. Alfonso Cuarón was able to show an eerily accurate reflection of our society that many of us choose not to see. All this imagery in the film are not foreign to us and we have seen them in our world. With the Syrian refugee crisis, Brexit, and Donald Trump.
I'm putting the people on notice that are coming here from Syria as part of this mass migration, that if I win, they're going back. They're going back. I'm telling you, they're going back.
Children of Man is a jarring view of the future of our society, but it seems like we have been living in the world of Children of Man this whole time.